How's it going, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of The Link, brought to you by expforall.net. I'm Glake, and this week we've got some new Nintendo Switch news for you guys, or perhaps for you new Nintendo Switch owners out there, as well as some news for you Xbox One owners. Let's jump right into it. So the online component for the Nintendo Switch is one thing that we didn't really hear all too much about leading up to the launch and even after the launch, but after the day one mandatory update for the system rolled out, a lot of new owners were pleasantly surprised as to what they came across. Early Switch owners this week were disappointed to see that Nintendo's friend code system has in fact returned as the primary way to add friends on the Nintendo Switch console. With friend codes originally stated to not be a part of the Switch, many owners are left confused as to why Nintendo decided to go the friend code route once again. Despite this, Nintendo confirmed on launch day that other methods for adding friends on the Nintendo Switch would become available post-launch, such as adding via Nintendo Network ID and social media. Now, I had no idea they were really going to even try to implement friend codes once again. I know Reggie for sure stated that friend codes were not going to be a part of what they are doing with the Switch, and lo and behold, friend codes are back. I'm not really sure what made them want to take that route. I'm assuming it's because the whole online component, the whole online functions in general are still being worked on, and I feel like the Switch kind of launched a little bit earlier than I guess what they expected. I don't think they really thought they would have the online done on time, so maybe they implemented the friend code feature last minute. Aside from that though, it's not that big of a deal because there are other methods currently to add people, such as you can add your current friends you have added on Miitomo, you can add people that you've already played with online on any of the online games that are currently available right now, and you can add people locally. So I mean, you have three other options, but obviously friend codes are the primary way to add people at the moment because, you know, if you don't know a person or you haven't played a game with them yet and you just want to add them like online or off like a forum or something, you gotta swap the friend codes. But on the bright side, it's not really that as tedious as it was in the past because the friend code sort of acts as a friend request. All you have to do is type in that friend code and then it sends that user a friend request. So instead of them having to add your friend code as well, they could just accept or decline your request. So all in all, it's not really that big of a deal, but I definitely, along with many others, cannot wait for them to provide additional ways for us to add people. So Microsoft has a brand new service on the way for all of you Xbox One owners out there. This one will allow you guys to have access to a large catalog of both Xbox One and Xbox 360 backwards compatible titles. Microsoft has revealed this week that the next major Xbox exclusive service, which is headed to the console, entitled Xbox Game Pass. The new service is set to allow users to download and temporarily keep a large roster of both Xbox One and Xbox 360 backwards compatible titles on their Xbox One console. The service is set to run users $9.99 a month, with titles occasionally rotating out from the list, ultimately offering something new every month or so. An alpha beta period has already kicked off for select members of the Xbox Insider program, with the program officially launching to all users this spring. More details are soon to come. Now, alongside of the alpha beta period that has kicked off, if you are an Xbox Live Gold member, they will also be doing a sort of early access beta period for Xbox Live Gold members sometime down the line before the official launch. But I want to share my thoughts on this real quick because this is actually really interesting. As far as I know, no other company has actually done anything like this before. We know PlayStation Now, or we know Sony has their PlayStation Now service, but that is a streaming service. You have to constantly be connected to the internet in order to play those games. And in addition to that, if you don't have the greatest internet or if you have a lot of wireless or Wi-Fi devices going in your house, you will definitely bump into hiccups and lag within the games that you're playing. But this is totally different because you're not exactly streaming the game. You actually own the game, I'm assuming, for a certain period of time, and you know, once that game rotates out, you'll probably no longer be able to play it. Now, I'm trying to think how exactly this is supposed to work, especially if we are going to be downloading these games to our hard drive. The only way that I can think is that we'll probably have to access the games via an app. That's what I'm thinking, and it's probably that app. We'll probably have to be online to access that app, but I don't really know exactly how they're going to make it work if they're planning on rotating out the game. It just doesn't really make that much sense to me, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. But needless to say, it's really awesome. It's sort of like Microsoft's or Xbox's own like Netflix streaming service, but for video games only. So I'm really excited to see what becomes of this. As of now, I believe they've already stated that Halo 5 is one of the titles that is going to be a part of that. So that's pretty cool. So it's not really like they're, you know, giving us crap Xbox One titles that like will run you like $10 at the store. No, we're actually getting like big releases for users to download every month for free. So it's really awesome. I can't wait to see more about the service when they release more details down the line. So unless you've been living under a rock for the past year or so, odds are you've heard about the 2016 hit Stardew Valley that released on Steam and then following recently on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Well, if you're a Nintendo fan and you've been looking forward to potentially playing the game on the Wii U, well, unfortunately it's not coming out for the Wii U, but it's actually headed this way on the Nintendo Switch. During Nintendo's Indie Showcase Direct, which the company held earlier this week, among the many indie titles which are said to be arriving on the Nintendo Switch, Stardew Valley has officially been confirmed to be one of them. While Stardew Valley is currently available on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch release of the title will be the first console version of the title to receive multiplayer functions. Yes! Aside from that, Stardew Valley in the Nintendo Switch will support all the features which are present on the other platforms the game is available on. Stardew Valley comes to the Nintendo Switch this summer. Now I'm extremely excited. I've actually held off on Stardew Valley for quite some time now, mostly because I'm waiting for multiplayer. I love farming simulators and everything. I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan. As a matter of fact, Animal Crossing is my favorite Nintendo franchise, I would have to say. And this is pretty much the closest thing we're going to get to Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch at the moment until Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch comes out. And multiplayer functions will make it almost exactly like Animal Crossing, so I really cannot wait. Really hyped for that. So yeah, later on this summer, there's a slew of indie titles coming on the Nintendo Switch. Like if you're into indie games, the Nintendo Switch is definitely for you. I can't wait. Stardew Valley, yes, I know a lot of people are really happy about this, and multiplayer functions is something everybody has been waiting for since like the game released. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of The Link, brought to you by expforall.net. If you want to catch up with all the other video game industry news that we've written throughout the past week or so, head on over to our website at www.expforall.net, and you can check out all the news we've written on there. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/expforall. And we're on Twitter as well at EXPForAll on Twitter. Man, I really just cannot talk today. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me for this week. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, keep on gaming. Take care, everybody.